Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Monday. It's time for a 5x5. Now, this is where I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject. I move on to the next subject. It's always quick. It's always snappy. You never know what you're going to get. Now, today, I'm going to be revisiting a topic that I talked about a couple of weeks ago. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did a video about 5 things professional magicians should never, ever do. And it was really well received, got a lot of great feedback. So now I'm going to do another video on 5 things that amateurs or hobbyists should never, ever do. 5 things that if you're an amateur magician, you don't get paid for it, whether at all. You just do it for the fun of it. If you're an amateur or hobbyist magician, these are 5 things that, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, you should never do. Wondering what these 5 things are? Well, let's check them out right here on this week's 5x5. Okay, so the first point is probably the single most important point. If you are an amateur, if you are a hobbyist, it is the most important thing is I never want any of you thinking that you're not as good as a professional or a semi-professional magician. You know, there's this sort of hierarchy, there's this sort of elitism in magic, and I've spoken about it before, and it drives me up the wall. Like, it absolutely drives me up the wall. I've seen it all the time. You know, people that get paid to do this stuff, they look down on amateurs and hobbyists, and I've seen hobbyists that have turned around to me. I've had conversations with them at lectures, or I've had conversations with them at conventions, and they go, oh, I'm not as good as a pro, I'm just an amateur. Well, shut up right now. Here's the thing. If you are an amateur, if you are a hobbyist, you are just as good as any professional I've ever met. Let's look at some hobbyists right now, shall we? John Bannon is a hobbyist. He is not a professional magician. I'm pretty sure nobody would say that he sucks. Let's have a look at another one. Let's look at Guy Hollingsworth. He's not a professional. He's an amateur. He's a hobbyist. He's got a job that he does, and yet he's considered one of the best in the world. You know, Lloyd Barnes, for God's sake, one of my best friends, really has never done a paid gig in his life. His job might be in magic, but his job is not of going out and performing professionally. And there's something you need to understand. The best magicians, in my opinion, the most creative magicians are amateurs, are hobbyists. Why? Because when you are a pro, you have to go out and do a certain type of magic. The second that your income is dependent on you going out and performing, the second that your income is dependent on you going out and doing gigs and performing and making money, then you sacrifice the type of magic that you do. I've done it. Every pro I ever know does it. There's a lot of pros out there, and I've spoken to them, that do sponge balls because it gets a great reaction. It's not a trick that they really want to do because it's been done to death, but they do it. I know that there's people out there that go out and they do types of magic they don't like to do. They go out and do kid shows. I love kid shows. Some people go and do kid shows and they don't like it. There's sacrifices that are made when you become a professional magician. You can't do if you are a close-up magician, for example, and you work in a strolling capacity, you can't do any of the type of magic that you do behind a table with a savant. It's just not going to work. Savant-style magic just isn't going to work. You're not going to be able to do the type of magic where you sit at a table. It's just not going to happen. You have to start doing a different type of magic. And as an amateur, as a hobbyist, you can do whatever the hell you want to because you're not getting paid to perform. Some of the best tricks that have ever been created have been created by amateur hobbyist magicians, because those amateurs, those hobbyists, they don't have to have their magic conform to a certain type of environment. They can create the magic that they want to perform. Look at Julio Monturo, for example. Now, I've ragged on him in the past, but you can see from my interview, I respect a lot of the stuff he's done, especially a lot of the stuff that comes out recently. He's a full-time teacher. He's not a full-time magician. He doesn't perform professionally very often at all. He's incredible. Look at John Gustafaro. He's in marketing. That's what he does. Yes, he performs professionally, but he's a musician and a marketeer. And yet he's literally written the book on magic again and again and again. David Regal. David's an incredible performer. Yes, he gets booked to perform, but that's not his day job. The point is, if you're an amateur or a hobbyist, the single most important thing is do not think that you are worth less than a professional magician just because you're told that you are, or because you believe that's the case based on going to a convention or a lecture and being told that's the case. You are just as good or better than any pro out there, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Okay, the second thing that you should never do if you're an amateur or a hobbyist in magic is you should never go to an event where somebody is being paid to perform and start running around the room and looking like it's an open invitation to go and to perform your own magic as well. I have had this so many times. I have spoken to people who have experienced this so many times, and it really, and I mean really, really, really annoys me. I'm being paid to perform at an event. I'm being paid to perform at that event. A client has booked me to perform at that event. You are there as a guest. It might be a wedding, it might be a corporate event, it might be a private event. You might, whatever, you're a guest. If you look at the fact that there's a magician there, and then take that as an open invitation to go out and take out a deck of cards and run around performing yourself, that is not good. That is not right. It's not going to look good on you. It's not going to look good on the person that's being paid to perform there. It's not going to look good on the client. It's going to be confusing. Please don't do it. If you're at an event, hey, let's say you've been invited to a wedding and there's no magician there, and you want to crack out a deck of cards and do some magic, rock on. If you've gone to a wedding, for example, and there's been a magician during the day and it's the evening, and you want to do some magic when that magician's gone and they're not there, go for your life. I fully advocate going out and performing as much as possible, and you'll hear about that later on in this list. But if a magician is being paid to perform and they're going out and they're performing, don't piss on their bonfire, right? Because it's their job, it's their livelihood. Don't make your ego, don't because your ego is so big, which is the only reason I think you could do this, go out and start performing when that person is paid to perform. And definitely 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, don't go over to a table that magician has performed at and then say, oh, now he's done his thing, I'll show you something really good. I've had that. I know other people that have had that as well. That is just disrespectful. It is unprofessional, and it really should never happen. Oh, and by the way, if you're the sort of person that thinks that it's okay to try and screw a professional magician's trick over because you know a little bit of sleight of hand, and you think that it would be funny to try and screw them over, that's not cool either. You know, they're there to do a job. Let them do their job. Don't make it about you. I know you know magic, and I know you can probably do everything that you've seen that professional magician do. But right now, at that point, when that magician is there, that is not the time to showcase that. Okay, so the next point is, point number 3, is if you're an amateur or a hobbyist magician, don't put yourself into the mindset that you should never go out and perform. I know a lot of amateurs. I know a lot of hobbyists that never perform. They never go out and perform to anybody. Now, look, here's the thing. If that's what you enjoy, I know there's magical historians out there that get a kick out of reading old magic books and kind of working out who invented this and who invented that. And if that's your thing and that's what you get kicks out of, that's absolutely fine. If you get a kick out of just sitting there and practicing and learning complicated sleight of hand, but not showing it to anyone, that's fine. That's all well and good. But let me tell you right now, the whole point about magic is it's a performance art. It's designed to be performed to people. Magic is at its best when you take something, Put your own personality into it. Make it your own, and then go out and show it to people. And I've spoken to amateurs and I've spoken to hobbyists that have never gone out and performed to anyone ever. They've been in magic for years and their sleight of hand is exceptional, but they've never taken the leap of showing it to anybody outside of maybe their son or daughter or their wife or something like that, or their mom. They never go out and show it to anybody. And that's such a shame, because all of that practice, it's not got an outlet. It's like you're learning all of these moves, you're learning all of this theory, you're learning all of these tricks, you're building up your repertoire, you're learning how to become a better performer, but then you're not actually going out and doing that. You're sitting at home and just practicing it to yourself. And like I say, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. But honestly, answer me a question. Is that what you really want to do? Or are you not going out and performing because you're nervous or you're scared or you're anxious? Because if you can honestly tell me that you don't perform because you don't want to and you have no interest in performing, that's fine. But if you're telling me that you've never gone out and performed to somebody because there's an element of you being anxious or there's an element of you being worried or nervous about that, then, make it a goal to go out and perform to people. Because honestly, when you perform, it's a drug. It's like a drug, man. It really is. You go out and you perform to people, you get the reaction, you want to do it again, you want to do it again, you want to do it again. It's one of the reasons that I love magic so much. I love magic so much because it gives me a chance to go out and showcase what I can do and nobody else can do. Or at least, there's people that can do what I can do, but at that point in time, performing to that audience there and then, at that moment, it gives me a chance to show off. It gives me a chance to show what I can do and nobody else can do. And honestly, I think that most people that are watching this, if you're honest with yourself, if you've never gone out and performed, it's probably because you're nervous, in which case, make a goal. Set yourself a goal. In the next month, in the next 2 months, in the next 3 months, you're going to go out and you're going to perform for somebody. You're going to pick a trick. Doesn't have to be a great trick, but you're going to pick a trick and you're going to show it to somebody. Because the second you do, the very second that you start doing that, you're going to want to do it again. You're going to want to do it again and you want to do it again. Just because you're an amateur, just because you're a hobbyist, doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out and perform. Okay, point number 4. The fourth point, which is very important. And this isn't exclusively amateurs and hobbyists, but I have seen a lot of amateurs and hobbyists do this, which is please do not go on social media posts that are about somebody who's going out there and performing and go on there and say, I know how this is done, blah, 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 blah. Now, this could be a social media post by a magician who's putting a clip up of their show that they've just gone and performed. It could be a reel on Instagram of a performance, or it could be somebody who's, putting a video out there on Instagram of them sitting at home performing their latest trick. I mean, hell, my son Ryland, he posts almost daily on Instagram, reels and performances almost daily. And there's a lot of people that do that. There's a lot of pros that do that. But it's not just necessarily about people putting videos online and posting performances of themselves online. It can also be, let's say somebody's gone on a TV program, like a Britain's Got Talent or an America's Got Talent, and a video of their act has been posted, and you go on there and you go, oh, I know how that works. I can see through this. This is the sleight of hand. It's just a simple switch or whatever it may be. There's a million different comments you can make. It could be, oh, I can do this. I can do it better. Here's a link to my video. This is how it's done properly. Or, oh, this is the worst handling of this trick ever. This guy doesn't know anything about magic. Or, oh, you suck. Whatever it is. I've seen it a million times. If you do that, I honestly want to ask yourself a question. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? I'm trying to be more of a chilled out guy on Magic TV these days. I'm not trying to be all sweary and shouty. So I'm going to try and control myself when I tell you that anybody who does that is a complete and total cockwomble. Anybody who does that has the wit, charm, brains, and intelligence of an Alsatian dog after a head swap operation. Anyone who does that is not helping. It's about as much use as a condom machine in the Vatican. It is not helpful. It is not helpful. If you really think that the person that's posted that video could do better, and you feel like you've got the information that you need to give them in order to get them to do better, send them a private message. Private message them and say, hey, I saw your video, man. I think that you could do it this way, and I think that'd be a lot better. Don't post publicly. A lot of professional performers that put videos up online of them performing, that video performance is not designed for you. That video performance is not designed for you. It is not designed for magicians. It is designed for lay people. It is designed for the people that want to book them. No, it might not be the perfect double lift. It might not be the perfect equivoke. It might not be the perfect performance of that. Yes, you might have seen it done better by an incredible magician, but it doesn't mean that their audience, it doesn't mean that the people who have booked them to perform at that event think it's done badly. And you are just making yourself look like a giant penis. That is exactly what you're doing. Seriously, think about it. Stop yourself from doing that. If you have a burning desire after watching somebody's video to go on there and talk crap about what that person said, then here's what I want you to do. You're just about to reach down to the keyboard. You've just seen somebody do a coin vanish and you're about to say, oh, your sleight of hand sucks. Or you've just seen somebody do a new trick and you go, oh, I know what that trick is. That's the new trick by Peter Egging. Or you've just seen somebody do a trick and you go, oh, yeah, I know how that's just done. It's a double lift and right, okay, here's what you want to do. Right, okay, right now, I'm telling you what you want to do. Don't type whatever vomit or diarrhea you're planning on typing. Don't do that. Instead, what I want you to do is walk away from the keyboard, right? Walk away from the keyboard, right? And go up to your bathroom. Okay, so remove yourself from the area in which you're typing and go up to your bathroom. Then turn the faucet or the tap on, get some water, yeah? Make sure it's really cold and just rub your face like that, okay, kind of wake yourself up, yeah? Then what you want to do, and this is the single most important point. Then what I want you to do is reach down and find the toilet brush. It's probably going to be by the bath or by the toilet or somewhere like grab the toilet brush. You probably know where it is, right? Then what I want you to do is unbuckle your trousers. And then what I want you to do is take that toilet brush and jam it as far up your ass as you can. Because that's what you deserve if you're thinking of typing that shit on somebody's Instagram, social media, YouTube, whatever post. Take your toilet brush, shove it up your ass, and then have a quiet word with yourself. The final thing that amateurs and hobbyists should never do is they should never give up. That's really important. Stop comparing yourself to other people. A couple of years ago, I started chatting to somebody online. It was during the pandemic, and it was somebody who just got into magic, and they loved it. They were obsessed with it. They were commenting on Magic TV and talking all about how magic's the most amazing thing ever. And we connected on Facebook, and then you know how Facebook works. If you're not in the algorithm, you're not in the algorithm. So I stopped seeing their posts, and one of their posts popped up about a week ago. And I was like, oh, I remember that guy. So I went and clicked on his profile, and there was no talk about magic. There was nothing about magic at all. And I scrolled back a little bit, nothing about magic, nothing at all. And so I messaged, and I said, and the last message he said to me was, oh my God, I love magic. It's amazing. I'm going to be doing it forever. And I sent him a message saying, hey dude, how you doing? I haven't heard from you for a while. How's things? And he's like, oh yeah, really, really good. And I was like, great, how's the magic going? He said, I gave up about a year ago. And I was like, oh, why? And he turned around to me and he said, because he realized he would never be as good as the other people that he saw posting in the various different Facebook groups. And because he realized he was never going to be good enough, he decided to give up. And that's such a crying shame. Because you know what? You should never compare yourselves to other people. You should never look at yourself and compare yourself to other people. You shouldn't. You're never going to be the best Lloyd Barnes. You're never going to be the best Matthew Wright. You're never going to be the best Eric Tate. You're never going to be the best whoever the hell it is. You're not. But you can be the best you. And that's one of the most important things for you to understand. You can be the best version of you that you can be. There's never going to be another you. And that's so important. And I see people giving up because they think that they can't do it. Well, you know what? You don't have to be a sleight of hand master. Okay, I'm friends with a guy called John Morton. You might have heard of him. As far as John Morton's concerned, as far as I'm concerned, John Morton is a creative powerhouse. He's one of my favorite performers. I could watch him for hours. He is amazing. Ryland's just had a very big show that he's had to do recently. And I went to John Morton to ask for advice, because I don't think that there's many minds in magic that are as, I just don't think many people are as nice or as knowledgeable or as just brilliant as John Morton. But he'll openly tell you he's terrible at sleight of hand. He doesn't really do intricate sleight of hand card tricks. His brain works in a different way. And you know what? That person that gave up, he was quite creative. He was coming up with his own tricks. He could be like, he could have been, he's not because he's left magic, but he could have been a creative powerhouse in this industry if he had been nurtured. But instead, he decided to give it up because he wasn't as good at sleight of hand as this guy or that guy or the other guy. Never give up. Never give up. Stop comparing yourself to other people. It's very, very important. I see it all the time. You are going to get people that are going to put you down. The more you put yourself out there, the more there are people that will try and put you down. I've spoken to my friend Chris James about this, who is an up and coming creator and a powerhouse within this industry when it comes to creating magic and looking at people's releases and coming up with different ways of doing them. I mean, just incredible, just incredible. But you know what? He's had so many people tell him, oh, you need to stop performing. You need to stop doing this. You need to stop doing that. Don't listen to them. Because when people are trying to put you down, it's normally from a position of jealousy. So don't let people put you down. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Understand that you are never going to be the next best Justin Miller. You're never going to be the next best Craig Petty, but you are going to be the best version of you that you can be. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't do this, because you can. Anyone can. Magic is not a difficult thing to do. You can do it as long as you believe in yourself. So there you go, guys. That's another 5x5 in the bag. Do me a favor. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's get a dialogue going. Also, don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with another video. Please don't forget that if you want to, you can contact me and ask me anything you want to. Absolutely fine. And also don't forget that you can go check out the net tricks. So many people ask me every single day, how can you support me? Well, the best way to support me is by going checking out the net tricks, www.thenettricks.com. That's www.thenettricks.com. You can go check it out and see what all the fuss is about. Now, I'm going to be back again soon. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.